This second video on multiplying polynomials is going to focus on a process that is sometimes referred to as FOILing. So let me explain. So when we're multiplying two binomials, which just means two polynomials, multiplying polynomials each with two terms. Here we have an example down below, x plus 6 times x plus 2. So that's multiplying two binomials. There's a special process that you need to go through in order to solve these problems. And the way it's commonly remembered is with the word FOIL, which stands for first, then outside, then inside, and then last. And what those words refer to is the parts of these two binomials. First means this term and this term. Let me clear off my drawings. Outside means this term and this term, the outside terms of the whole product. Inside then means this term and this term. And last finally means this plus 6 and plus 2. So let's see what that looks like when we put it all together. First, outside, inside, and last. And when you do this kind of a problem, you will always have four products. So it will look like that. The product of the first two, x times x. The outside, x times plus 2. So we look at this. These were our outside terms, x and plus 2. Our inside terms, plus 6 and x. And then finally, our last terms, plus 6 and plus 2. And then, of course, we have to multiply each one of those products, simplify, and write our final answer. So let's go through 4 sample problems. And there really are 4 different kinds of problems here. Let me show you what's different about each one of these before we get started. This one, they're both addition, x plus 4 and x plus 6. So there's no negative signs in this first one. That makes it a little bit easier. In the second one, we have one negative sign. In the third one, we have 2 negative signs, or it's both subtraction. And in the final one, we have a negative sign and a subtraction and addition, but the numbers that are being added and subtracted are the same. That creates a special kind of answer. All right, let's go through these. So before we get started, we know that we are going to be taking the sum. Let me rewrite that. We're going to be taking the sum of 4 products. There's our first product. There's our second product. These get a little bit long and are kind of time-consuming until you get the hang of them. So I'm just setting up for our 4 products, and then I'm going to put in the pieces. So this is going to be the first, this is going to be the outside, this is going to be the inside, and this is going to be the last. Our first are x and x, which is pretty common that is the first product. The outside, x and positive 5, x and 5. Our inside, 4 and x. And then our last, 4 and 5. So now let me erase the FOIL so that we can complete this. Now it's just the process of doing the multiplication. X times x is x squared. X times 5, and it's positive, is going to be 5x. 4 times x, still positive. We don't have any negatives in there. 4x. And finally, 4 times 5, still positive. So plus 20. Now, the last step in problems like this is very often to combine the two middle terms. Because notice, we have like terms here, 5x and 4x. Those can be combined. X squared can't be combined with anything. That's all by itself. And 20 can't be combined with anything. So we will just carry those down. X squared plus 5x and 4x is 9x. And then just plus 20. Now, because I've taken up so much room here, I'm going to clear my drawings and move on to problem 2. But I'm going to do exactly the same thing to get started here. This helps me remember that I'm going to take the product of 4 different things. This is going to be the product of the first, the outside, the inside, and the last. Let me fill that in. Our first are x and x. Our outside are x and minus 4 this time. Our inside are positive 2 and x. And our last are positive 2 and minus 4. So let's start simplifying. X times x, x squared. X times minus 4, minus 4x. 2 times x, it's positive, plus 2x. And 2 times minus 4, minus 8. Now, once again, notice we have like terms here in the middle. And as I said, that will happen most of the time. So we combine minus 4 and positive 2, and we get minus 2x. X squared doesn't have any like terms, and minus 8 doesn't have any like terms. So we just carry those down into our solution. And the answer is x squared minus 2x minus 8. Now, a pattern that you can look for is when the subtraction is with a larger number. What I mean by that is we're subtracting 4 and we're adding 2. The subtraction is with the larger number. That means that this middle number is going to be negative. Just something to look for. Let me clear off those drawings. As always, you can pause this and replay as needed any particular part. We're going to have our 4 products here. Whenever you see 2 binomials being added like this, or I mean multiplied like this, you know that you are going to have 4 products. So let's fill that in. Our first, let me write my first, outside, inside, last. Our first are x and x. Our outside are x and minus 2. Our inside are minus 2 and x. And our last are minus 2 and minus 2. X times x, once again, that's x squared. X times minus 2, that's going to be, and we're letting that product determine whether this is addition or subtraction. Since x times minus 2 is minus 2x, that's going to become subtraction. Minus 2 times x, that's also minus 2x. And minus 2 times minus 2, two negatives become a positive. That becomes plus 4. Once again, we can see that we have like terms here in the middle. Minus 2x becomes minus 4x. X squared doesn't combine with anything. Positive 4 doesn't combine with anything. Our answer is x squared minus 4x plus 4. So notice that when both are negative, the constant at the end will be positive, and the middle term will be negative. Last one, this is that special case that I told you about that we want to take a look at. The special case is we are subtracting 2 and we're adding 2. Whenever we're subtracting and adding the same number, something unique is going to happen here. Notice that all of our answers so far have had 3 parts for problems 1, 2, and 3. That's not going to happen this time, and I'll show you why. Okay, I know that's a little tedious, but I think it's worth the time to sketch that out. First, outside, inside, and last. First, once again, x and x. It doesn't always have to be x and x, but I kept them simple in this case. Our outside, x and positive 2. X and 2. Inside, negative 2 and x. Maybe you can see what's happening here. Negative 2 and positive 2. That's going to be negative 2 and positive 2. And let's simplify. X squared. X times 2, and it's a positive 2. So that's going to be positive 2x. Negative 2 times x minus 2x. And minus 2 times positive 2, because there's one negative, that result will be negative. And as has happened in every one of these problems, we combine these middle 2 terms, but we have plus 2x and minus 2x. Those cancel each other out and leave us with 0. So there is going to be no x term in this case, and our answer will be x squared minus 4. And again, the reason for that is that plus 2x and minus 2x completely cancel each other out, and they leave us with just the x squared and the minus 4. And that will always happen if we're subtracting and adding the same number. We'll be left with just 2 terms in our answer. All right, that's it for this video. Try the 10 problems that follow, and as usual, if you have some difficulty, this is a difficult process. You will probably make some mistakes. It's worth going through it a second time to try to improve upon your results. Good luck.